Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking with us. I don't know if I can beat the intro that I had at the start of this broadcast, so we're just going to get right into it. We just saw game number 1 here between 100 Thieves Academy on the blue side, Team Liquid Academy on the red side, and, it was a 30-minute game. It's not like it was a super quick end, but it did very much feel as though Team Liquid Academy really had their thumbs, in some sort of socket on the side of 100 Thieves from minute 1, really. So we've got some pretty awesome replays here that we're going to take a quick look at. The start of it really just focusing on the beginning of the game. The early game was absolutely massive here for Team Liquid Academy.
And I think the big thing that we got to highlight here is the fact that Team Liquid Academy and 100 Thieves Academy were going for a lot of similar plays throughout this early game. The difference was Team Liquid are faster, right? They bring both Ayla and Poom up here, both Ayla and Inori up here to go for the gank, and they are there earlier. Now, we're seeing a similar scuffle, right? As soon as the first play ends, we're jumping right into our second play on the bottom half of the map where everyone just starts coalescing. The difference is Gamsu is already teleported top lane, as Cubby had highlighted, and that means that Dokla is uncontested here, and so suddenly a play that was looking to be maybe a 3v3, 4v4 scrap turns into a 5v4 coming out for Team Liquid Academy, and they're able to continue channeling that, and the one time where 100 Thieves are faster, they're unfortunately just weaker.
Yeah, and even looking at this play, to me that first play was the start of really Team Liquid taking full control of the game, and this is the clincher. When you have the advantage, you get the kill onto Yon here as 100 Thieves Academy, that should be perfect. You get this play, get back out of there. You got the TP burned as well. You've got 2, in fact, burned. That's perfect for you to be able to come back into this game, but they overextend. They overstay their welcome, and they get heavily punished by Team Liquid from it, and that, to me, is when the game was over.
And this honestly feels really weird, looking at how 100 Thieves are playing this. At the point that Gamsu actually goes for his ultimate, he doesn't have any HP. Poom is already leaving. There's some kind of communication breakdown that happens in this play, and then after it happens, I mean, again, a crazy amount of confidence coming through from Team Liquid Academy to say, hey, we think we can still take this fight. They have a small mishap where Harry ends up taking the turret on their dive of Luger the second time around, but other than that, it just comes down to the fact that they got so strong off of these first couple of plays that it was really hard for 100 Thieves to do.
I mean, I love it because, to me, it just shows that they're not cowards. They play aggressively. They're here to rumble. Let's go.
And not just low health there, but it was actually low mana for every single member that was a part of that fight. And this is where, they've got so much pressure as well towards the bottom side. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me as soon as I saw Draft locked in and knowing these champions, or knowing these players and the champions they like, you kind of mentioned at the beginning, Magical, do not allow this Camille to go over to Dokla. So not only did they have 2 of the best side laners in the game for Dokla and Harry and Camille and Rise, but the amount of mobility they had on the whole team. Every single member had something that helped them, and then they managed to get a Cloud Soul on top of it.
Exactly, and I have some fun stats once we cut back to so I can show the chalkboard about the big dokes on that Camille. As of late, when they are able to get it into a favorable matchup, you can actually see right here, we got 7-1 and 6 versus Ornn in that game, and from the last series, it was 9-0 and 6 into GP. They absolutely dominated on the champion. Sure, if you look at the earlier results from earlier in this tournament, when he didn't have favorable matchups, such as into Shen or into Jax, didn't do so well. But here, when he gets a champion that he's able to play into a favorable matchup, he is able to dominate.
And I also kind of want to go back. I don't know if anybody else has been watching this, but the LoL World Championships channel on Twitch has had so many great opportunities to go back. I was watching TSM versus SKT in Season 3 last night, and all the analysts are saying, wow, TSM really outperformed SKT in the early game just conceptually, and I feel like that's what happened in this game this time around. Team Liquid just had a better idea of what it was that they were trying to do in the early game, and unlike TSM, 8 years ago at this point, they were actually able to execute on it and show that they had what it takes to actually close out this game.
Okay, so moving forward then, we're looking at game number 2. This is a best of 5, so at least one more game. 100 Thieves has the opportunity to drop before TL is at match point, but it looks like 100 Thieves has locked in blue side once again. So, Magical, can you kind of walk us through the side selection and how the series has gone for these teams?
Of course I can. If we look at the other side of the chalkboard here, I have the win rates of 100 Thieves Academy during proving grounds. They are 7-1 on red side, which is why it surprised me that they have elected to go back on the blue side, being 2-4 on that side. But if you look at previous tournaments, if you look back in playoffs, they actually were undefeated on blue side. Sure, it was only in 3 games, but this shows that they have that confidence to remain on the blue side and not actually have to look at the recency bias of their results to put that into perspective. But the thing that bothers me is with Team Liquid, this is a team that has actually been doing pretty decently. They played a lot of their games on red side. Most of their games during the Proving Grounds have been on the red side. They are now 7-4 on red, and I think even more recently that they are looking a lot stronger with that because they're able to get those counter matchups for Dokla in the top lane, especially into Gomsu, who tends to like to play a lot more of these tanks. If you're going to have a rough matchup like we saw when he had Ornn versus Set beforehand, you need to do something. You need to change it. Maybe get back onto the red side, but having gone back to blue, I'm really hoping they have something in their pockets they can pull out.
Yeah, and speaking of that, going with blue side, obviously the big thing is first pick priority. So, Joshi, I got to ask you, aside from banning the Camille, probably, what would you like to see as a first pick or just as early picks here to lock something solid in for 100 Thieves on blue?
In general, I think it's really going to have to look at how the jungle matchup has gone through. We've seen both Chad and Inori very, very active early on in the game. Inori played a couple of games on Jarvan and Rek'Sai the last time these two teams went head-to-head, and unfortunately, they didn't particularly play them particularly well. So it's a situation where if you can just take Inori off of some of the things that they've had success on, the Trundle, like we saw this time, they're likely to continue seeing success for 100 Thieves. And it didn't happen this time around, but it also feels like it just was a very small difference. If 100 Thieves had just been a couple of seconds faster in some of these plays, they probably would have gone in 100 Thieves' favor.
Very possible. We will see. Again, this is a best of 5, so there's plenty of opportunity for 100 Thieves here to find out what works well. And again, it was a 30-minute game. It wasn't like it was a massive shutout. Towards the end, it certainly felt that way, especially based on the gold lead and the pressure that was held by Team Liquid Academy throughout the entire map. But we are going to be seeing game number 2 here soon. We are going to take a very quick break, though, so don't go anywhere. Don't touch that browser. You can't get up. Get some drinks. Get some snacks. Stay hydrated, please, folks. There you go. That looks like a Moscow
It's
mule.
like a mule.
Don't judge
Yeah,
me.
what do you got in there? What do you got in there, Magical?
Don't judge me.
All right, we're not judging anything. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back with more 100 Thieves Academy and Team Liquid Academy here on Proving Grounds.
And we're back, everybody, for Pick and Ban for game number 2 between Team Liquid Academy and 100 Thieves Academy. TLA already up 1-0 in the best of 5 series, Cubby, in the grand finals. A fantastic start and a fantastic look for them. But the desk already said it. We're keeping the same side selection as we're getting into Pick and Ban for this game, too. So what does this mean for 100 Thieves? Did we have the wrong read of them going into the series?
I thought that they'd be taking a red side, given their history and given, what Mad Magical was pointing out, right? They're 7-1 on red, and Team Liquid Academy just played 5 red side games against Golden Guardians, so I thought that they'd try and deny that, try and go for some counters. But it feels like the first pick for them is a little bit too valuable. What we saw in the last game, we saw a Cassiopeia being taken away. That led to a first pick Trundle, and TLA showed they can take away the Rise and play it themselves. So I think this ban's going to tell us a lot. Do we see Cassiopeia banned again? And it's not going to be banned. It's going to be the Braum that's taken away, which tells me that it's still going to be leaning towards that first pick Trundle, or they could just not care about the Cassiopeia and try and take the Rise here.
See, that was the reason that I was confused last time around, is because Cassiopeia is what Harry plays into that Rise. If you ban it away, he expects that Rise, but Harry also plays it too. So if you leave it up, Harry can grab that. If Hunt Thieves Academy go for the Trundle themselves, who knows? Maybe Harry grabs the Rise again right now, but Rakan taken away from Poom. Yeah, his win rate is ridiculous on that champion so far in this event. So that first pick from Hunt Thieves Academy, they opted into this side. They're still hovering that Trundle, and they lock it in.
This still doesn't surprise me, as Inori is 3-0 on the pick, and it was a very important pick for Team Liquid Academy, and they were fighting back in the winners finals best of 5, as pairing the Trundle and the Ezreal together really made it difficult for 100 Thieves to execute that game plan of diving the ADs, something they did so well in the first 2 games when they were going up against Yon's Aphelios. And this also does open up an easier Ornn blind, which seems to be the blind pick of choice for Gamsu on the blue side. I'm curious to see if we see any changes in the bans, if we see a Camille now taken away in the second phase of bans by 100 Thieves, or if we see changes here, because changes will be forced. Braum was banned out by 100 Thieves, so gonna have to see if what they switch it up here with, and if they go for something a little bit more aggressive into this Rise. Syndra was the pick of choice for Ryoma in the last game. He's going to have a choice to respond here. We potentially see the Cassiopeia pulled out by Ryoma himself.
Could be, but either way, Team Liquid Academy, they lock in the same two, the Rise plus the Volley Bear, so they are comfortable, they're confident in how that game 1 went. But this is the adaptation. We now get an aggressive support for Poom. We talked about the early game play, the early game focus of 100 Thieves getting up to this point, and that game 1, they drafted heavily for late, they drafted heavily for the team fight. I don't think they're drafting the same this time around, and already seeing the Leona and the Tristana. This is a bot lane that can make a little more action happen early on.
So I pulled some global champion win rates for this entire tournament, and Tristana, after that last game, is actually 9-1 in the tournament at the moment. And I think that the Tristana, what 100 Thieves had in the last game, would have been a comp that would have set up very well for Luger's Tristana. So they're actually taking it early here, and this can be flex mid for Ryoma. Could potentially open up a little bit more mid priority there. So 100 Thieves having a flex, a little bit more power in the draft. I now want to see if they take away something like the Camille. I think that Camille or Dokla, he's played it 6 times in the 11 games that he's been in for these playoffs, and I think it's something that matches up very well in the Ornn, matches up very well with how Team Liquid Academy and Dokla like to play, and something that was a big problem in that last game as well.
And it's also something Dokla will blind pick or counter pick with. Magical sharing the stats in winning matchups, but also will blind pick that. We saw in Game 5 in the upper bracket finals. It didn't work for them because Gamsu was playing the Jax, but it is banned out here. So 100 Thieves Academy identifying that as a key issue and a key tool that Dokla was able to use and get fed on in that last game. And Set was the other counter pick that he would save for these tanky top laners. If Gamsu's going to go back to the Ornn or the Shen, maybe we see a Set ban here too.
And this is a big tell for 100 Thieves and kind of where their priority lies, because they aren't scared of Ayla, who I think played really well in the last game. I know that Dokla was the one who got the kills and got fed, but the person setting everything up was Ayla on that Bard. And so letting Bard through again, it's not as good of a matchup into Leona, and I want to see if Ayla switches it up here, because I think that support will be taken, given the fact they see Leona. They want to save that counter pick for Dokla in the top lane. Here to see if he goes back to the Bard or if he switches things up.
Alistair is another champion that he played last time these two teams went against each other. I believe
Very
that
good in
was
Alistair.
also into Leona, so yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Alistair for Ayla yet again, an engaged tool for Team Liquid Academy yet again here. So if you're the shot caller and you're also the cow that can say, hey, we're fighting now, it's a good combination here for Team Liquid. But what does 100 Thieves Academy want to answer with? Because again, they will have to blind pick their top laner and then match a mid laner into that Rise.
I think
It's
range
left on the table.
Range and disengage. Rise Zaya, actually a very low range composition coming out from Team Liquid Academy. So if I'm 100 Thieves, I'm opting into anything where I can keep my distance. We talked about the Tristana counter pick. They're going to make good use of it here, as Luger will be pulling out Vayne into a low range composition. This sets up very well for 100 Thieves. And I would not be surprised if they just blind Shen or blind Ornn here yet again, as it could be the set for TL in response, and it would force TL into a situation where they just have to dogpile 100 Thieves and pray they get ahead early, or face the wrath of this Vayne Tristana, but instead Gamsu switching up. That's a Kennen.
The Cannon range top lane blind pick here, that really changes the narrative. It's not a tank that Team Liquid can just pick, set into, and bully around in
No
lane.
Jace,
They're
yeah.
going to have to find something else now. Yeah, Jace, Aurelia, you look at the bans now from 100 Thieves Academy, it's starting to add up why they left that set on the table. But what I love most about this, last game we hyped up Luger. We talked about him as a key carry and what he can do. This is now a composition that can do things a little bit earlier, but it's the Gnar answer from Team Liquid Academy.
So this matchup is Kennen favored early. So Dokla opting into a bit of a counter matchup. But the good part about Gnar is that I think TL see the fact they're a rather low range composition, and they're just committing to the dog pile. So Gnar can very much follow up on that when he has Mega. And as the game goes on, Gnar does get better at contesting Kennen in the side lane and will outscale Kennen in the side lane as well. But of course, those teleport flanks from Gamsu will always be deadly and will always have to be marked by the side of Team Liquid Academy. Really have to keep our eyes onto Ayla, see if any of those headbutts can be used to keep Kennen out of the fight, out of the party. But the adaptations coming out from Golden Glue and 100 Thieves Academy, still keeping the focus on that all-star carry in Luger, really empowering him, and Vayne into a low-range composition is always something that's dangerous to deal with. And so if 100 Thieves can navigate out of this early game cleanly, Vayne should be able to clean up the rest of this one.
Still the Luger show for 100 Thieves Academy, but now room for the other players to flex off their skills a little bit more earlier on. We're going to send it to another short break before we hop into the game, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for Game 2 after this. And we're loaded onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2 of your grand finals between 100 Thieves Academy and Team Liquid Academy to round out the Proving Grounds season. TLA up 1-0 in the series on the same side of Summoner's Rift this time around, but Cubby, very different approaches to the draft from 100 Thieves specifically this time around.
And all eyes have to go on Luger's Vayne, as Luger, throughout this tournament, has been nothing short of fantastic. He's averaging being up 378 gold at 10. Him and Poom are a very lane-dominant combo, but then what Luger's able to do with those leads as the games go on is something that makes him very special. A lot of fans have their eyes on this TCL MVP to see if he's going to make his big break in LCS going into the next split, and he continues to prove that he has the chance to do that. We'll have to do it yet again against a former member of the 100 Thieves organization, the first iteration of 100 Next. It is Yawn, who has had a great split with Ayla on TLA. So I think for me, all eyes have to be on Luger. And if TLA are able to shut down that Vayne early, which seems to be the focus, as Voldabear will be starting on the top side and will be pathing bottom.
They were able to control the early game in that game 1. A lot of the action happening on the bottom side, but Luger still got kind of fed on the Jinx regardless. If you get fed on the Vayne, with the tools like Kennen engage, Leona engage around you suddenly, again, like, there's a different pacing to this composition that 100 Thieves have drafted, but it's still similar focus on, like you said, Turkish MVP in Luger. We talked with him way back in spring, one of his first interviews that he had, and he said that he came to NA, he came to play an academy to show that he is an LCS caliber AD carry. And I asked him, going into this series, do you think that you've proven that? And he said, yes. I think that next year I will prove that I am the best AD carry. And yeah, that's the kind of confidence that you want. A lot of eyes on him. But early on here, Team Liquid do get the priority in the bottom lane. Hitting level 2 first, pushing out Boom. That's a lower health bar on this Leona, so we'll see if Luger is able to have a comfortable laning phase now.
This lane does get much better for Luger after the first phase, but Xayah can poke Vayne a little bit with those Qs as we're seeing that lane phase play out. And now, I talked about how Voldiver has a lot of options after 3 camps with that level 3 to trade flashes with mid laners, as it's so powerful, but will not find that. Instead, Dokla, he's going down.
He ganked early, yeah, that's a kill. That's first blood to Gamsu. Flash was used, and Shad was pathing up there at the right timing, going for the 3-camp gank. Dokla, playing a little too far forward, does get punished.
And Honori, the crabs are spawning, but seems to be walking top. Will not be able to find the low HP Gamsu, who is flashless. Will be able to get a reset off, as top crab does fall in the hands of Honori, but first blood in the hands of Gamsu. I think a good trade for the side of 100 Thieves Academy, as they struggle to find a foothold in the map early in the last game. They have already found something in the top lane for this one.
And also just the mental, getting into Dokla's head right now. We talked about the social media that he's been putting out, saying, hey, I'm ready to take down any of these top laners in Proving Grounds. He's, had a couple of pop-up performances, so, we'll give you this one, Dokla here. But so let's see what he can do with that lead. Having 2 amp tones coming back into lane, Kennen can still be oppressive, and you talked about the early game of a Kennen winning this lane matchup early. This could now be a very powerful, focus for 100 Thieves to look at in the first couple minutes.
And of course, the nerfs to Kennen did come on a later patch. So 11-17, Kennen still has that empowered Q, which does help Kennen a little bit extra in the lane. Those rank 5 Qs actually hit very hard once you get to that point as well. So Gamsu going to try and use that to the best of his abilities. As quiet map state, Kangas, leads us to land our eyes top, where Ayla is roaming, or I should say in the mid lane, where Ayla is trying to roam, trying to hover, not able to find anything, and apparently Chad, off the mid lane priority from this Tristana, was able to get in and steal the Raptors of Inori.
Boom was able to drop a ward on the other side of that wall, so even though 100 Thieves Academy were pushed in, they're trying to catch these waves, which allows Team Liquid Academy this opportunity, this window for Ayla to look mid. They saw that the Alistar was going, so nothing happens, but yeah, Gamsu will catch his wave in the top lane, massively shoved in. This gives Dokla a window to now roam around here, but yeah, Dragon's on the table. I just don't see Team Liquid Academy actually grouping for that, so Dokla will just get some vision down, see that Chad doesn't have any camp topside other than that Gromp he would look at. So we could actually look at focus now into the bottom lane here. In game 1, it was Team Liquid that were getting those dragons stacking early on, but like we said a couple times now, 100 Thieves Academy can actually contest earlier this time around.
They can, but not as much in the bot lane. I think that, especially with Yawn having this itemization advantage, the Vamp Scepter being the early pick for Luger to try and help sustain out from some of the Xayah poke from the Feathers and Q, as Ryoma takes advantage, hitting 6 first. That's a nice chunk onto Harry. Doesn't even need to use the ultimate. I was just talking about not being able to contest Dragon, but Ares forced out of mid with no teleport. That should be the first Dragon of the game, going cleanly over the hands of 100 Thieves.
Chad's right on top of it, and they are shoved in, but Poom's hovering nearby. I actually think there's a window the TLA could look to contest this. Chad's low on health. Noise nearby. Chad could be in some trouble right now. We'll need to throw down the smite, throws out the pillar, and Poom just buying time for Chad to get in here.
No.
But look at Ayla engaging in. Disaster for 100 Thieves. Yawn gets the Dragon Steal and 2 kills, but Luger has joined in the fight now. Now into Anor. Ryoma still level 6. Rocket jumps in, gets the reset, gets out as Harry realm warps to join, but cannot find anything. So kills traded, but Dragon picked up by TLA.
A very risky play for 100 Thieves comes back to bite them. As Trundle, Chad, not enough HP goes down. Yawn actually secured the Dragon for Team Liquid Academy. And Kangas, you called it. The fact that bot lane, the shove was in favor of Yawn, what we were worried about in the first place. That is enough space to open up for TLA to rotate an extra member as Yawn is here. Yawn's the one that takes the Dragon, and they end up getting a 2-for-1 as both Poom and Chad fall.
And Inori getting the double kill. That's 2 onto the volley bear. The jungler can now rotate that gold around the map. Ryoma does get out. That's the saving grace for 100 Thieves. But you see Luger throwing out the emote as well. Oh no, what have we done? Throwing over that lead that they had already earned from themselves with Gamsu getting the first blood in that top lane. And now actually Dokka's just been farming up a storm up here. So CS advantage over to the Gnar early on. Team Liquid Academy, they're feeling pretty good coming back into this game.
This will make things dangerous for that Rift Herald as well, Kangas. Will be the next objectives that we lay our eyes on. As 100 Thieves... honestly, when it comes to that Rift Herald, I think that sacking it early might be okay if they're able to funnel more resources onto the Vayne. So I want to see if 100 Thieves Academy try and pull members of TL like off the Rift Herald, try and stall it out, and then just keep Luger in the bot lane. It's something that 100 Thieves has done in the past when they have the hyper carry. Because that solo gold and XP in the side lane is sometimes more valuable than actually taking Shelly. And sometimes it's a very big investment for these teams to make. And it seems to be the early move that 100 Thieves are calling is Plume's in mid lane, but both bot laners of TLA are up here and hovering. Inori's trying to secure vision, and that top side of the river is already very dark for the side of 100 Thieves as TLA have complete control.
X-Flash. Ayla doesn't actually commit for it. That could have been a precarious position for Plume to be in, but Luger and Jan actually finding each other in the bottom river. Luger heavily losing the trade, has to cleanse and flash away. Well played, Jan. Would love to see the beginning of that fight. Jan did use ultimate for it, but still, I mean, we have up Luger, this is what happens.
It's a big itemization advantage for the Xayah, right? Having that pickaxe, having that extra AD, it is enough as Chad getting jumped on. Yes, the flash. They aren't able to stall this.
To get over the wall, and the Herald secured by TLA, but it's still pretty low. There we go. Inori gets it. Jan joins in on the fight. Poom, once again, caught away from the rest of the team, approaching that pit. Has to flash as well.
Let's see how much Luger is able to get in the bot lane, as he's the one sticking around. Not even able to secure a single plate. It's just going to be solo gold and XP going over to that Vayne. And TLA want to shut that down quickly as they're rotating 4 members into the bot lane. This will scare Luger off that turret immediately. Not even able to stick around for a single plate. And TLA win heavily off that Rift Herald play.
Inori picking it up. And now choose which lane it wants to drop it into. Last time around, it was in the mid lane. They hard focused that gold early on onto Harry. Ayla actually hit by the pillar. Ryoma's going to capitalize on this. There's no flash on that Alistar, but there's engage from Inori. Ayla with the stuns and Inori with the follow-up. Now Chad, 2-4 forward because his support, or mid laner rather, tried to find blood onto Ayla, and that's 2 more kills for Team Liquid.
Big mistake coming out from 100 Thieves as they're not respecting the timers for TLA. This is something where you saw 4 members rotate into the bot side of the map. 100 Thieves going for that player, somewhat banking off the fact that TLA still don't have 4 down, right? They might have went for a reset in the post play. The play was already made for the Rift Herald, but TLA, they stick around, they catch out the members of 100 Thieves, and really put them on the back foot yet again as off of that Herald crash, Kangas. A 2K gold lead steadily in the hands of Team Liquid Academy, who look solid early in this best of 5 grand finals.
And if you look at it, Ayla's backing with the ward in that brush sees Chad. So this is bait. I'm going to call it right now. I think this is actually bait coming in from Team Liquid Academy saying, we know. Ayla's like, guys, if I just start backing here, Chad's going to come up and try and kill me, and we can turn this. And Inori was positioned perfectly for it. So I'd love in a post-game interview to actually talk about this play specifically, because if that was prep, that's insane.
I think Ayla was just like a kid's meal waiting a pixel brush. You know, they just wanted to get the toy, get in, get out with the McDouble, but it's not enough. As Ayla, how the turntables when you're able to send not only a cow but a bear into the fight. As now, Liquid Academy utilizing that mid priority, and they get the flash out of Harry, but Chad's in trouble.
100 Thieves try to start it, but Harry just flashes, and Ayla and Inori here to play bodyguard. So no kills picked up, but that is flashed down from Harry. We'll have to track that and see how impactful that is for the next action.
And this is something that I want to see out of 100 Thieves, is just try and bleed out summoners here and there from Team Liquid Academy. Try and find areas that you can punish. That flash being down is now one area they can go to and punish, as they're still going to be very far behind in this early game because of how it has panned out, because of the comps that have been drafted from both of these teams. This is a free second dragon going over to Team Liquid Academy, and I think, yet again, 100 Thieves, they have to wait for that Vayne to really get to the Rage Blade before they might feel comfortable actually taking fights against Team Liquid Academy, who have so much tankiness and so many base stats early in this one.
Already almost 3,000 gold ahead with those 2 dragons as well. And this time, 100 Thieves don't have the Ornn, Braum, Jinx combo, like this crazy hyper-scaling AD carry with very defensive tools around. This is a slightly more aggressive team comp coming in from 100 Thieves Academy, so I don't think that they have this, like, okay, we can just wait, we can scale, we don't have to be aggressive early on. You're right, they can rely on Luger, but they want to find a way to get back into this game, and especially with their play style. That's just what we know for 100 Thieves. They like to make these early plays. So far in the series, they just haven't found them.
It's a comp where they had more ability to make early plays, but they're still fine with scaling. The Tristana and Vayne will outrange everything that TLA can throw at them as this game goes on. The time is still very much the friend of 100 Thieves Academy in this game, even though the texture may look different, may feel different in this one. As I think one of the nice parts about the adaptations that 100 Thieves did make going into this game too, they have more of an ability to side lane. We saw them really just really grouping up quite a bit in that first one as Yawn's going for the turn here on Chad.
Boom. Tries to go in.
Flash.
Chad was in there as well. Team Liquid come in.
5.
2 teleports in, and they will find the kill on the Boom.
A big commitment from Team Liquid Academy. They get the kill. They will get the mid-lane turret. And 100 Thieves Academy are not able to get much in return. It's 3 plates going over to Ryoma. They've still yet to knock down a single structure. And now Chad.
They're going to keep going. Chad, stunned up, can't even flash the wall. Luger's there, but doesn't even get 3 autos off onto Ayla. Team Liquid Academy are playing on a completely different clock than 100 Thieves.
And 100 Thieves are not respecting that clock. They aren't respecting the timer, aren't respecting the plays that can be made. And Team Liquid Academy, because of that, are just feasting upon 100 Thieves Academy as Boom might look to stop some recalls, but didn't even walk into that brush. Oh.
Team Liquid Academy giving a lot of respect right there. They don't have vision on Gamsu. They don't have vision on Chad right now. So they just say, okay, don't take the fight, just walk away.
This is a huge commit coming in from Team Liquid Academy, and Yawn knows it. Like, from the moment that Chad approaches him, he is turning this fight. He's like, dude, TP mid, Boom doesn't have flash. This is illegal. We can take him down, take mid lane. That's exactly what Team Liquid Academy do, but also the bonuses. This is so greedy from Chad going for the Raptors when you see 4 members mid and know that 2 people just teleported. They have the numbers advantage, and I love how Ayla commits quickly, commits early, says, guys, he doesn't have any ultimate. He's still level 7. We can take him down for free. It's exactly what they do as Team Liquid continue to rout 100 Thieves early in this series, Kangas. This is sure looking like it's going to go to 2-0 as Team Liquid have secured a 4K gold lead.
One turret rather is picked up here by Ryoma in the bottom lane, so evening out the turret trades. But even as we say that, Dokal has a full wave shoved in the top lane. So depending on how low that one is, we could see Team Liquid still coming up ahead there. And Inori, 4-1 and 2 on this Volibear, a player that is subbing in for Team Liquid Academy for their upper bracket match against 100 Thieves last time. This is now the 3rd series that he's playing in Proving Grounds with the team and having an absolute pop-off performance.
That Volibear certainly looking lethal through the first 2 games, making those early timers work as trying to punish the flash being down from Harry, but they can turn this.
Okay, Ryoma has to commit the ultimate just to push Ayla back, because otherwise you're for sure dead there. I like the hover from Ayla. Sticking around Harry right now. He's catching this wave. Nice attempt still from 100 Thieves. Like you said, they're still looking for stealth. They're still trying to be proactive.
But there's no way they can go for this next dragon. I think that's why they're looking for plays in the side lane a minute before the objective spawns. They will reset. But look at Team Liquid Academy and where they're at on the map right now. Both Inori and Ayla in that bot side jungle, trying to clear out vision, trying to guarantee control for Team Liquid Academy. As they're going for another dragon stack, they've done a good job of securing the second one. They stole the first one, keep in mind, and that's going to make life really difficult for 100 Thieves, as I don't think they have the items to contest them at this 3rd dragon, and I think they're going to have to seed it for free.
It also comes down to prep. Who's got the better setup for it right now? 100 Thieves, they have their teleport user in Ryoma in that top lane, because Gamsu was looking for a reset. Will run towards the bottom side. So that means it's going to be the Tristana teleporting in. The Team Liquid Academy are here early. They can get vision control around the objective. They just need Ayla nearby as the Alistair. Yeah, running right down there now. Controller and inventory can sweep out some of these wards, but Inori just starts it off.
And I mean, he starts it off because Chad's spotted on the top side here, so he's just going to support Ryoma. 100 Thieves know and understand they're too far behind at this point of the game to whip another fight. And with time being on their side, they're just like, you know what? Let's try and see what we can get in the side lane. We get 5 more minutes now before we have to fight them again. And hopefully by then we can farm enough so we have items to be on better footing. As Gamsu has to run away from Harry. That's a second crash and potentially a bot inner even going over to Team Liquid Academy.
Dragon secured, that's 3 now. As Team Liquid are looking for a dive here. Gamsu's in the fight though. Slice Motion was used, doesn't get that much damage down, but Harry's out. That's a good pickup for 100 Thieves Academy. They still have 5 members strong. They're committed to the fight, running forward. But Jan, with these arrows, getting a lot of space done, flashes away. Ayla playing bodyguard will go down. Resets for Ryoma, jumping back forward. Anori goes in. Pillar onto Jan. Shut down for Luger. The play is turning to the Thieves. And that is a double kill to Vayne.
And this is what 100 Thieves does so well, makes them so lethal. The reason they're in the grand finals is their ability to find mid-game fights like this is unmatched in Academy and Amateur. And they find a magical fight in that one off the backs of Ryoma and Luger. You've heard me talking about range advantage, the difficulty that Team Liquid Academy might face if they get behind. This is the difficulty they face. They don't have enough members at the fight as 100 Thieves Academy. Their ability to play this one out mechanically is just beautiful. Look at the focus onto Harry. Look at how they're selecting their targets one by one, taking advantage of those silver bolts from Vayne. And look at the back half of this as Poom, Chad, Ryoma maximize the usage of their health bars to make sure they can continue to pursue Team Liquid Academy. Watch the stopwatch from Poom. Dodging out this auto. Look at how clean that is as these players, they haven't shown up yet in that series, but that's the first play where they've proven why they're in the grand finals. And finally, Kangas, it feels like 100 Thieves have a little bit of a foothold in this game.
So before that play, it was a 5,000 gold lead to TLA. Now catching up, it's 2,500 gold. Catching up also where a lot of that gold went to. Luger getting the double kill. Doesn't have that second item completed. But this is good news for 100 Thieves Academy because the gold lead's much closer now. So that 4th dragon fight should be closer as well.
They need 2+ items to rip through the tanky front line that Team Liquid Academy has.
You see Ryoma down here. Ryoma's alone in the side lane and just completely surrounded by TLA. Nice teleport coming in there from Dokla, securing no escape path for Ryoma and TLA with a pig. Let's see what they can do with this.
Looks like they want the bot inner turret as Gamsu does have TP. There are a couple wards behind Team Liquid to try and respond, but Ryoma being in that death chamber for another 23 seconds gives Team Liquid a power point in the map as they're looking for Chad.
They want more. They're not all grouped up yet, but they see Gamsu top lane right now, so they just commit for it. Gamsu can't teleport in time. Poom is dead. And Gamsu won't even trigger the teleport. 100 Thieves Academy lose another member.
Not respecting the power of Team Liquid off the back of that play. And all of a sudden, Kangas, Team Liquid pull this game right back to where it was before we started. The 4K gold lead emerging yet again. They take the bot inner turret. They get the mid inner turret as well. And the real estate for 100 Thieves is running dry as Team Liquid continues to take all of the objectives in their favor.
Right back to that 5,000 gold lead. I mean, immediately after we're singing the praises of the Thieves finding that crucial play, they're gonna have to find another now. Dragon's up in 1:45. So we're at that point of the game where teams are looking to prep up these waves, prep up vision for that objective. And also where 100 Thieves often try to find picks before the objective spawns. So I'm gonna be looking at some of their key members. Looking at Poom in particular. How does the support want to navigate here? Try and find these pockets of vision that 100 Thieves can find these picks with.
It's going to be difficult. 100 Thieves have access to 0 flashes before this Mountain Dragon. And I feel like their focus has to be onto Harry. An immobile rise, no flash. If they're able to find and catch Harry, maybe they can get a front to back they can win. As 100 Thieves still economically down pretty big. And Team Liquid, their champion, still pretty strong at this point of the game. This would be a huge fight if 100 Thieves Academy could win by themselves in extra 5 minutes, but this should be TL favored, even with 100 Thieves taking control of the river. Yeah.
This is what they do. They don't have control of the side lanes, but 100 Thieves are already grouping. They're already looking for the potential fight, but TLA just matched them. Dokla is about to hit Mega, had ultimate, but no flash engaged. The TLA back off, but I favor TLA in this specific setup because they still have pressure top and bot.
So Dokla popped Mega to make sure they got river priority, but he won't have it for the initial fight. So 100 Thieves will have a window after this upcoming mid lane to try and push very hard into this river as Dokla is sitting on mini at the moment. And there will be a fight over this mid lane. It's still TLA hovering the bot side, having control of that bot river. Luger did sneak in a final reset and actually has a Blade of the Ruin King second. So really focusing on shredding that tanky front line we've been talking about. This is Dokla. As many. This is the timer.
To be available. I
They've
think
got to
that
go.
100 Thieves are actually going to find the fight here. Ayla pushes back members of 100 Thieves. Luger pushing very aggressive at Dokla right now. Actually lands a good damage to the wall. Ayla's over the wall, locking down Luger. Can't find the kill, but that was crucial from Ayla right there. Luger's now pushed away, had to use Cleanse.
And he doesn't have a TP. He just has heals. Dokla, he's going.
Dokla flash. Dokla engaged. TLA massive from their top laner, but the turnaround from 100 Thieves, they still have some damage.
Down a
Slicey
member.
Maelstrom was used, but it doesn't matter. TLA, they have too many members. They're too strong right now. It's just the 80 carries left alive. Ryoma and Luger, what can you do in a 2v4 situation? Answer is retreat. Realm Warp coming forward from TLA. Luger has to flash. That's Dragon Soul to TL.
And the fact that Dokla was able to chunk out Luger with the help of Ayla, that flash over the wall from Ayla to make sure that Vayne got chunked out, is what won TLA the preceding fight. Vayne doesn't have teleport. We oftentimes see health bars getting traded in the skirmishing around Dragon to force out a teleport, right? You can trade your health bar to use TP to get back at the objective and use it at full strength. Dokla chunks him out, pops Mega, makes this a 5v4, and TLA just wiped the fight as Luger, the strongest point 100 Thieves at this point of the game, is not able to be in this one.
You were just talking about Dokla not having the rage bar. Well, Luger just gives it to him.
So good from Ayla.
Ayla keeping Luger at bay. Now Dokla's like, okay, oh, hey, look, I can engage. I can actually look for this play.
Check this out, guys. We have a 5v4. I'm just going to throw 3 of them into you. I don't care if I go down. I know you can do the rest. Also, props to Harry. That's a great stopwatch as he dodges out on the Solar Flare and the ult from Kennen. And the fight's over before it starts because of the play from Dokla and Ayla. Really good teamwork and team play coming out from Team Liquid Academy.
So many defensive tools. The Xayah ult used to dodge out Slicey Maelstrom. Gamsu just couldn't find the engage. So with Dragon Soul secured, now all summoner spells back down again from the side of 100 Thieves. I can't imagine a world where they actually contested this Baron, but Chad and Boom, even Luger, they're all up here on the top side. Spotted out by Inori. So, okay, that's the classic 100 Thieves move, the cheese brush, but they do not find anyone from TL.
As weird as this seems, I really don't think 100 Thieves are completely out of this game. The fact that they still have these 2 marksmen, they can go for the LDR third, which you can already see Ryoma is sprinting towards in his build. And the fact that Vayne just scales into infinity against this team comp of TLA that still is low range and has to dogpile and deathball upon the team of 100A. It's a doable game. 100 Thieves can still win this, but these next 5-6 minutes are going to be very difficult to navigate as TLA are just hovering around the Baron. This will be spot at the start, but it's going to be an uphill battle to climb as Ryoma was just seen pushing bot. They're trying to pull the TP out of him, and now maybe trying to pull Gamsu.
TL are just doing the same move. They start up the Baron, pull 100 Thieves into them, disengage the Baron. And you got to imagine they might just go right back onto this here. Luger is getting control of the mid wave, so 100 Thieves Academy might have provided enough pressure for TL to now be back off the Baron, but engage comes in from 100 Thieves. The gut onto Ayla, booms down. Ayla's traded. Slicey Maelstrom from Gamsu. Absolutely massive as Luger now has room to shred through TLA. Dokla getting a lot of work done here in the 1v2 against Ryoma and Chad, but still not Mega yet. No flash available. We'll need to get away here. Turns back onto Ryoma, actually. Chad didn't take the same pathing, so Dokla about to hit Mega.
He's got Mountain Soul and Red Buff. Yeah.
Okay, TLA, they still have an angle here. Dokla could look for this. Oh, he gets knocked back, condemned into the wall, but the Realm Warp comes in from Harry. Luger's in a lot of trouble right now. Stuck in a corner, goes down, and so does Ryoma. Massive turnaround from TLA right there after what looked like a strong start for 100 Thieves.
Harry survived by a sliver of health against Luger in that 1v1 in the fight, and because of that, I was just talking about using your health bar as a resource. He's able to TP back with a full health bar and make sure that TLA can collapse onto the side of 100A. As Chad, yet again this game, he's trying to walk into the river to steal a Baron, but he can't do it against Harry's Rise. And TLA will take this one and secure themselves a 9K gold lead.
Absolutely insane performance coming in from Team Liquid Academy. I love this. Even after 3 champ, I think maybe 4 champ Kennen ultimate, we'll get a look in the replay here, but they still turn the play back around, and yet again it's 100 Thieves actually opting into the play.
It's a great setup from 100 Thieves, as look at what Gamsu's able to do in the choke, and look at how much space he finds for Luger and Ryoma to shred. And that's the sort of HP I was talking about with Harry. Lives with about 120 health. This enables him to base, TP back with a full health bar, and shut down the rest of 100 Thieves Academy off the post play in the original fight. Also, that and Doko having access to Mega, Mountain Soul, and Red Buff makes things rather hard for the side of 100 Thieves' TLA. It was a close fight, really well played by 100A, but it is enough for them to shut the clamps down, take the Baron, and once again make this game very difficult, as now they take control of the bot side of the jungle, as Elder's the next big objective on the map.
And during Elder, TLA will still have this Baron. The window is wide enough so they can get full control over these lanes and maybe even just end the game here. I mean, they have the Elder or the Mountain Soul, so they are still working with a massive buff. They still have a 7,000 gold lead. They don't need the Elder Dragon. So if they find the right engage, this could be game over here, but still a lot of room to work with. 100 Thieves. They still got that timer, I guess, scaling of the double marksman, but seeming less and less likely. But maybe picking the Dokla is a good start. Poom misses the Zenith Blade, and now with no mobility here, we'll just get caught out. Buys a lot of time, is tanky, but will go down. TLA with the pick onto the support. This could be game.
Love the round warp to respond from the flank attempt from Poom. Just takes away any opportunities for 100A to do anything in that fight, as shutting down the game here would be important. LDR and Witsend are close, and TLA are
One hard
pushing
commit. TLA, they know they have the champ advantage, and they're going to capitalize. Gamsu's down. So with no support, no top laner, no engage options of 100 Thieves Academy, even if it's not game over, this is their base in shatters right now. TLA are in such a dominant position here, not just in the game, but in the series. About to be up 2-0. Ayla goes for another engage, cashes Luger, but the Nexus turrets are a big enough defense. Chad still alive, and Ori engaging in. Luger in trouble, flashes to reposition. Defense from 100 Thieves under their turret. They're still alive, and they will take down Inori. Big play there from 100 Thieves. Can they push for more? Poom goes for the engage. Harry Yod still positioning so well. Kiting so well. Taking down Poom. Chad to follow up. Flash forward by Yon. First Nexus turret falls. The second as well. And now the Nexus is exposed. The AD carriers have no front line. Game's over. Team Liquid are up 2-0 against 100 Thieves in Proving Grounds Grand Finals.
And both games taking the same amount of time, 29 minutes and 30 seconds. TLA find themselves up 2-0, reversing the script of what happened in Grand Finals, as 100 Thieves were the ones that went up 2-0. I should say winners finals.
Winners bracket finals, yeah.
Yeah, reversing the script of winners finals in the Grand Finals, and I gotta say, TLA, this new game plan, the focus on the early game, trying to emulate a lot of the comps that they were running with Armeo. Voldabear Alistar was a signature combo for TLA, especially in the spring when Voldabear was a little bit more powerful, a little bit better in the meta. It feels like TLA kind of returning to their bread and butter with the two new subs, incorporating them into the roster. It's a different team than what 100 Thieves faced in Winners Finals, and they haven't found a way to deal with it yet.
Having an extra best-of-5 series against Golden Guardians Academy, where we saw similar play here. The early game focus, I think, has really revamped TLA. Like you said, different looking opponents. 100 Thieves Academy on the back foot now, down 0-2, and Team Liquid 1 win away from taking Proving Grounds championships. We're sending it to a short break before the analyst desk is back to break down that game 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.